Moving on to Sunday, we have Southampton against Liverpool, 2 p.m. kickoff at St Mary's. Southampton sit bottom of the league, but they did recently get their first win in the top flight by beating Everton. They followed that up with a 2-0 loss at Molineux. Liverpool, however, were able to extend their winning run by beating Villa just prior to the break. So they currently sit top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League, and they are the informed team at the moment. I think the break for them came at a bad time. Obviously, they would have liked to continue their momentum, but let's see if that sort of 2-week hiatus has had any impact on them. For the injury report, Southampton will be without Bednarek, who was injured on international duty, and Ramsdale, who fractured his finger just before the break. So 2 key defensive absentees, and it means we will get third choice keeper Alex McCarthy in the Southampton net. The main news for Liverpool is surrounding Trent. Obviously, he went off before half time, just before the break. I would imagine he sits this one out. There hasn't been too much information in regards to that injury. But Slot does have a capable replacement in Conor Bradley, so I don't really see the need to rush Trent back, given how well Bradley has shown himself to be over the last season or so. So Jota and Alisson are also out, but both are nearing a return. So not too much injury news to cover for these two teams. But I do think this game is a bit of a banana skin. Not many angles sort of scream out at first glance. But there is one particular matchup that I am especially looking forward to. And it's between Luis Diaz and Kyle Walker-Peters. Kyle Walker-Peters obviously hasn't been a secure starter under Russell Martin so far. He started off playing on the left before being excluded from the lineup, and now he's sort of found a more stable position on the right back spot, starting the last 5 league games, playing the full 90 in all of them. If we look into his sort of fouls drawn data in the Premier League, it does stand out quite a bit. He's drawn 2 or more fouls in 6 out of 9 games, and he's drawn a foul in every single game. So he's clearly a good player to target for drawing fouls, and he'll be up against Luis Diaz, who's actually registered the most fouls for Liverpool in this season. He's actually hit 2 or more fouls in each of his last 5 starts, and he's hit 3 or more fouls in 4 of those 5. So clearly a good player to target. If we look into those games, he's had 3 fouls against Bologna, 5 fouls against Arsenal, 2 against Brighton in the EFL Cup, 5 against Leverkusen, 3 against Villa. So he's often clearing this line pretty easily, and he has seen the full 90 in each of his 3 last starts. So that's a good sign as well. He's sort of seen an uptick in minutes without Jota, which is a benefit for this matchup. Southampton are actually a good side to target for opposition fouls. I think that's where the angle of interest is for me, is for Southampton to draw fouls in this one, and it's because they play possession-based football. Since their promotion, they're averaging 13.55 fouls drawn per game, which is pretty decent. And as I say, Kyle Walker-Peters has been a contributor to that tally, especially without Flynn Downs. He does see quite a lot of the ball, which obviously helps this selection. So I like those two. In addition, a sort of additional thing to consider is that Tyler Dibbling is the only player who has drawn more fouls than Kyle Walker-Peters this season for Southampton. Obviously, his minutes are not as secure, but he does play on the right wing. So if we sort of see Kyle Walker-Peters, Dibbling both start, they should find duels against Luis Diaz, which is one to target, that sort of matchup to target. So based off all that information, I think my best angle would be for Luis Diaz to make 2 or more fouls, combined with Kyle Walker-Peters to draw 1 or more fouls, which comes out at top price with Sky at 2.63, which is actually a lot bigger than I would have thought. It's quite a decent bit shorter on Paddy. And you can actually also get Kyle Walker-Peters to make 2 or more fouls, or to draw 2 or more fouls, at the same price, 2.63, which looks very big as a single with Sky. An alternative angle is in the shots market, and it's to do with Harwood Bellis. So I targeted him for a foul earlier in the season, but he's adapted well, And I think his sort of angle of interest is to register a shot. He's currently priced at 1.91 with Paddy, and he's proven himself to be a solid aerial threat. He actually scored for England at the international break, and he's managed a shot in 6 of his last 7 games, with 2 or more in 3 of those as well. So he's a good player in the air. The sort of thing to consider is that obviously the data looks good, but backing centre-back shots is always quite a risky option in my opinion. Reason being is their distance from goal is obviously the greatest, so you are reliant on a specific situation, a set piece. Now the question is, will Southampton get many of those against Liverpool? Potentially, but it will likely to be lower than their average. So Liverpool rank 15th for opposition corners. However, their defensive metrics aren't great, despite having the likes of Van Dijk and Konate. They actually rank 13th for shots allowed from set pieces per game, 3.55, and have an opposition shot percentage of 3.22%. Only Spurs actually have higher, meaning a high proportion of the opposition set pieces are actually resulting in a shot against Liverpool, which is something to consider. I think 1.91, you'd look to boost that over evens by sort of adding Southampton corners, and if Liverpool can take the lead early, Southampton will probably keep the ball for quite long. But it is a bit of a mismatch. I think Liverpool are very, very heavy favourites for this one, especially given that Southampton will be without key players defensively. So that angle isn't yet a lock. I think that needs a bit more analysis. Moving on,